I know the sound is kind of scratchy, but I wanted to give you a taste of what it sounds like when I'm working. I don't work with music or listen to podcasts or listen to anything, watch TV in the background while I'm working. I like to work in silence and just be with my own thoughts. It's an opportunity to come back to myself and really to notice and be aware of the energy that is moving inside me, and also what energy wants to move out onto the canvas. Often when I begin with these really kind of big marks and a lot of movement. You can see I'm dropping the charcoal and I'm moving the charcoal a lot with all my hand. It's a process of kind of coming back to myself, coming back home into myself, starting with these really big movements. And as I go, you'll see I get slower and more methodical and rhythmical, and eventually I'm working with the tiny movements, and as a much more rhythmical, methodical um, rhythm. As I work, I really allow the movement and energy inside me to guide my mark making, and I'm very aware all the time of like kind of the variety of marks I'm making and how much I love making these circles. I think a circle is a very calming and soothing shape to make, and for me, it's also become very representative of nature. You know, we see the spirals, the Fibonacci spiral in all of nature, and we see circles just everywhere. Nature makes them naturally. Combining these with very organic and biomorphic shapes, I just allow my hand to guide me and the material. I do work with both hands. I really enjoy the more organic and less controlled shape that my left hand gives me, my non-dominant hand. So I sometimes use it like this, where I let my right hand follow my left hand and we just make these little shapes together, and I get this double line, and the lines are of different quality and different thickness and heaviness. I'm constantly aware of the heaviness of my stroke or the lightness of my stroke to create more texture and more sort of different shades of grey. And this is where I'm adding water, and adding water now really brings in the element of water, and it also allows the charcoal to become more organic and to give me more grey. Here I am now working into the smaller areas, or creating the smaller circles, and this entire area becomes very textured by using water. I love the variety of texture that I can create with the charcoal and water, smudging and moving. And I use a combination of charcoal, the water, and a cotton bud to create layering. The water acts as the grounding, getting as much tonal variation as possible, and also shapes and marks that are possible with the water and different amounts of charcoal. I have so much fun doing this. It's really very soothing, and the charcoal is so dry and scratchy, and then the water becomes this really liquid, fluid medium that kind of softens everything and softens the experience as well, the process. I'll play between the water and the charcoal and the cotton bud, um, making layers and creating more depth and more of these circular shapes. So really allowing the bud or the charcoal to then make more definitive shapes. Sometimes I use the cotton bud when it's wet and it takes away some of the charcoal. I might work into this watery area while it's wet or when it's dry. And then I'll start to use the cotton bud also, once it's collected some charcoal on it, as a darker drawing tool so that it creates these wonderful tones of grey. I love using it because it has this matte effect, like when you colour with it, it's like colouring in, and it becomes very soothing for my nervous system, um, without being exact and without having to colour in the lines exactly. I try and keep it as random as possible and sort of as organic as possible, so that it just stays with this quality of aliveness and shimmering and changeability, just like water. This little shape that I'm working on at the moment, this area, reminds me of how water shimmers when it's kind of being moved by the wind or by ripples. I find this process extremely meditative as I work with the rhythm and the small focused detail. And so as I work on my painting, going from these large scratchy marks with the charcoal and moving into these watery, smaller, detailed areas, my nervous system calms down, and I get into, I suppose, something that they call zone. And this is how I use my work for healing for myself. And I really hope that by watching this video, your nervous system is also calming down and feeling quite at peace. Um, I find it quite mesmerizing to watch videos like this where the artist is working. I hope you enjoyed it too, and I'd love to know how your nervous system has responded. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.